Tour. Hello again, everyone. This is Rich Lerner here to walk you through some lessons on how to play. So many historic moments have played out before our eyes in major championships, and today, two of the top players in the world are set to tee off. Rory McIlroy holding a one-shot lead over Martin Kaymer. It's the final round of the U.S. Open Championship at Chambers Bay.
Going into, the final round of any golf tournament with a chance to win, especially a major championship, it's a huge buzz. That's the only way I can describe it. It's the best feeling a golfer can have because you're in the mix and you're in with a chance to win one of the biggest tournaments in the world. It's an incredible feeling. It's something that you may only get to experience a handful of times in your life. So, that atmosphere, you want to soak it in as much as you can and really enjoy it.
Rory McIlroy coming off a strong performance yesterday, now making his way to that first tee box and looking to add another major championship trophy to his already growing collection.
And Rich, there's no doubt both golfers will be nervous until they get that very first tee shot under their belt.
The first tee shot is probably the most difficult because you've been thinking about that shot since the night before. Once you get that first shot out of the way, you calm down, you're a little more settled, you're not quite as anxious or nervous, and you sort of get into the rhythm of the round. You want to get off to the best start possible, and obviously that starts with that first tee shot.
Well, there he is, Rory McIlroy, a past U.S. Open winner, set to tee off on what could be an historic day of golf, and set against the beautiful Puget Sound. Frank looked like a nice balanced swing.
Well, the free-flowing action that we find synonymous with Rory McIlroy in display, even under the nervousness of an opening tee shot in the final round of the U.S. Open, and just blitzed it down the fairway.
That one carried a long way, stayed up in the sky forever. Perfect lie here, Frank. What's Rory got?
Well, expect something just slightly right of the flag. You want to avoid the hill and the bunkers on the right, and there's a little bit of a gut or a chasm just over that left side of the green, so left not a good option.
About 145 yards away. Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Looks to be a good one, Frank.
Oh, nestles inside 15 feet, so a birdie chance coming up for Rory.
Frank, not only does Rory McIlroy have the physical tools that you need to be a dominant player, but he thinks clearly. Good head on his shoulders.
And he's in that rare company, 4 more majors under the age of 25. You're looking at Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, the only other two that come to mind. And the styles of play, they're all different. And Rory plays his way. And I think you have to be a pioneer. You have to realize that your way of playing the golf is superior, because to imitate at this level, you will not be successful. And early advantage, McIlroy.
I think making putts early in a round is very important. It sets the tone for the day and it gives you some positive momentum early. You see the ball go into the hole and it gives you confidence. You face a downhill putt at a US Open with greens that are as tricky as that, it just makes it even more difficult. I feel like you always face important putts no matter when it is, but obviously they're that much more important when it's the final round of a major.
Now over to the second, and McIlroy with a challenging downhill putt. Frank, I know it's early, but if he drops this could really spark some momentum for the round.
But this putt will be very, very quick. You've got to be careful because the ball can quite easily take off once it gets past the hole.
Rory McIlroy looking to take advantage with this putt. And in. What a way to start this final round. Back-to-back birdies. So second shot here at the fourth, and this one sets up pretty well for McIlroy, doesn't it, Frank?
It's an easy one for him to work out. A little bit uphill, perhaps a club. And with 165 yards, playing closer to 170, 175, still a birdie opportunity. It's a good strike, good swing by McIlroy. And no problem finding the putting surface.
No problems early. Looks good.
It does look good. This bodes well. We might be in for a very, very low round today.
There's some times when there might be a wait on a tee box, or you've played your shot and you're waiting on your playing partners to hit their shots, and you just look around and you realize where you are, because you don't really you don't appreciate it that much whenever you're playing, and that's not what you're thinking about. You're thinking about trying to win a golf tournament and not really taking in the beauty of your surroundings.
Heat of a U.S. Open championship, you're thinking about grinding out pars, but it's hard to miss this view, Frank. They call it Olympus, and with good reason.
It certainly is. A lovely view, virtually, of the whole golf course from here. But this hole, that's the one that Rory's going to worry about right now. Downhill, so it's going to play well short of its normal yardage. You're going to have to club accordingly. And look at the shape of that green, how it angles from the left to the right. Consequently, when that flag is on that right section, you have to fly that ball every inch of the way. Should be safely on deck. Oh, what a shot by Rory. Really total disdain for this hole.
Stuck that one. Can't hide the flagstick from Rory McIlroy. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either.
Just a fraction too aggressive. Remember, line and speed go together.
Sometimes you want that birdie so badly, and all of a sudden you're faced with a lot of work, more work than you had hoped for, just to make the par. Did the job right there. And just like the lone fir tree, there is now just one man with the lead, Martin Kaymer. Rory now in second behind Kaymer, looking at a difficult second shot here at the par 315.
Missed the green on the left, Rich. Just that pot bunker between him and the hole. And there's only about 8 or 9 feet of green to work with. So this flop shot is going to have to be hit very high to make sure that ball lands soft. And at this point, it's critical to save par.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that.
Rich, you get that feeling. If there's going to be a moment, I think that moment is now.
Trying to clean this up, make his par. Routine stuff for Rory. That's a par.
Final few holes to play, especially of a major championship like the U.S. Open. It's what you've worked so hard for. It's what, you've put all those hours of practice in for, and, this is your moment. This is your moment to see what you've got against the best players in the world and test yourself at the ultimate level. There's obviously a lot of pressure. You don't want to let an opportunity like this pass you by. You don't want to let it slip. So just stay really focused, really concentrated. Try to take one shot at a time. Try and put the result out of your mind. Control what you can control. But saying that, it is difficult with so many things going on around you, whether it be the crowd, or it could be the person that you're going up against. There's so many things that you can't control, but the things that you can control, that's what you have to concentrate on, and that's what you have to try and do to the best of your ability. And if you can do that, that's what gives you the best chance to try and win a huge tournament like the U.S. Open.
You couldn't ask for much more than what we have right here. 2 former U.S. Open champions, 17th hole, tied for the lead, Martin Kaymer and Rory McIlroy.
And Rich, it's easy to remember these types of situations, and it's as much about mental toughness as anything right now. The 17th hole is named Derailed, and I'm sure it's a great test for both men's mental toughness.
That should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Frank had hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that. Second shot.
Rory now for par to put a little pressure on Keimer. Good effort and good par putt. It really is amazing. You play 71 holes and you get to this point. One left to play. We're all tied. Martin Keimer, Rory McIlroy, and Frank, what does Rory need to do off the tee?
He has to do what we've become accustomed to, and that's a great drive from Rory. There's two bunkers down the left side, plus an enormous amount of sand down the right side. Somehow, split the two, find the fairway, and this green, this par 5 green, will be in reach. You know, Rich, so often we associate US Opens with just a straight slog, par after par, but this is a real treat. Keimer at his best, McIlroy at their best. Playing anything other than US Open style. This is a totally different generation.
Brilliant golf by the two Europeans. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
What a shot. I mean, McIlroy just aired it out.
If there was any risk there, it certainly didn't look like it.
28 feet from the cup. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
You could hear a pin drop right now. It all comes down to this. Rory McIlroy to win the US Open. It happens sometimes, Frank. They don't all drop.
No, but you try telling him right now.
For the par. The door was open, but Martin Keimer slammed it shut. Keimer, the US Open champion yet again. It came down to the final hole. Keimer really put on a show. This will forever be remembered as one of the best finishes in major championship history.
Lose a lead or you lose a major, or it doesn't quite work out the way you had hoped. At that moment in time, there's obviously a lot of disappointment, but I think that passes and you use that as motivation for the next one, and that's the only way you can view it. You can't feel sorry for yourself, or you can't get down about it, because what's happened's happened. The past is the past, and you move on. But you use it as motivation not to let it happen again. My toughest loss was the 2011 Masters, when I had a 4-shot lead going into the final round, and completely blew up on the back nine. It was a very tough moment for me. It was very disappointing, but I used that as motivation to say to myself, that's not going to happen again. That's not the player I am. That's not the player I want to be. I used it in a way that 70 days later, I won my first US Open and my first major. So sometimes disappointments can be catalysts for good things to happen in the future, and it's just how you react to it. And I feel like, if you react to your disappointments in the right way, they can be very beneficial.